All right, good afternoon, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started here. My name is Jacob Zarang, meteorologist here at the National Weather Service New Orleans Baton Rouge office in Slidell. Here at your tropical and heavy rainfall briefing. So we'll go ahead and jump right on into this here. So we have PTC, or Potential Tropical Cyclone One, and it's forecast to become a tropical storm on Wednesday, make landfall Wednesday night near the Texas-Louisiana border. Daily rounds of storms can produce areas of significant flash flooding, which we've already seen in parts of our area near Picayune, and especially where the heaviest rain and intense rainfall rates repeatedly moves over those same locations. Outside of the flooding, we do have a threat for strong to severe storms, mainly with damaging winds and a few brief tornadoes for the next few days. And then when it comes to marine and coastal hazards, we are expecting minor coastal flooding and hazardous marine conditions, and those threats look to increase tomorrow and into Thursday with 1 to 3 feet of inundation above normally dry ground, especially during high tide. And of course, with all the rainfall we're expecting to get, rises in rivers are also likely as well. So I know, apologize, this is a little blurry, but so this is kind of what we're looking at right now. So the biggest threat in the short term, in the present, is the heavy rainfall threat, and that's basically right along and north of the I-12 corridor. Pretty much what I detailed before: intense rain rates leading to areas of isolated flash flooding, hazardous travel conditions, and of course those rises on the rivers. Of course, that also includes places where we have seen significant flooding this morning around in and around the Picayune area, where they saw 6 to 8 inches of rain. So again, this is kind of what we're dealing with right now, the heavy rainfall threat along and north of the I-12 corridor. And this is a 5-day threat outlook, basically re-mentioning what I'm saying about today. Today, the biggest thing is the flash flood risk. We did have a few tornado warnings out earlier again, but that seemed to have ramped down. So flash flood risk seems to be the most prevalent today. It looks like we will have a lull later this evening and overnight into Wednesday, and then it picks right back up Wednesday during the afternoon and evening, that flash flood risk, as well as the severe weather, strong winds, and a few brief tornadoes. And that's also when your coastal flooding and marine hazards also start ramping up, is during the day Wednesday. And then Thursday looks to be potentially our highest impact day. Early Thursday morning is what we're thinking right now. Of course, that can change as well as we get closer, but expecting on Thursday possible significant flash flooding again, and then also the strong to severe storms capable of strong winds and a few brief tornadoes, and again the continued coastal flooding and marine hazards. By Friday, hopefully this system will be departing to the east. Looks like we might have some lingering heavy rainfall, which could lead to some isolated flash flooding in some areas, especially the areas that receive the heaviest rainfall today, tomorrow, and Thursday. And we'll also have a lingering severe threat, not as widespread as Wednesday and Thursday, but we still cannot rule out a brief tornado or two, and a brief strong wind gust as well. Still have elevated marine winds as well, 15 to 20 mile an hour with 25 mile an hour gusts. And then Saturday, the system should fully depart. Maybe have some very isolated flash flooding issues, again with those places that saw the highest rain totals today through Thursday. Really no coastal flooding, and maybe a few storms, but the winds still will be slightly elevated for the coastal marine areas. So like I said, advisories have started on Potential Tropical Cyclone One. Again, just a reminder of what a potential tropical cyclone is. It's basically an area that is expected to develop very soon into a tropical storm. So it has not yet developed into a tropical storm, and it doesn't have a name, but there's a very high likelihood that it will become a tropical storm in the near future. And as you can see in the cone on the left-hand side, we are expecting it to become a tropical storm by tomorrow morning, and then make landfall along the Texas-Louisiana coast. Of course, whether it's a named storm or not doesn't really change much for the impacts for us. We'll still bring flash flooding, minor coastal flooding, and a few tornadoes to our local area. Speaking of coastal flooding, this is kind of the storm surge map from the Hurricane Center. You can see from Morgan City all the way to the mouth of the Mississippi River, we're expecting 1 to 3 feet of inundation along the coast there. It looks like our timing is going to be the high tide cycles, which will be midday Wednesday and midday Thursday. Again, so that's why we have the coastal flood advisory for those areas. This is a map of the marine and coastal watches and warnings. So you can see from Morgan City westward, there's a tropical storm watch in effect until 8 a.m. Thursday. For areas east of that to the mouth of the Mississippi River, we have a coastal flood advisory in effect through 12 a.m. Thursday, an additional advisory probable on Thursday. We also have that small craft advisory for those marine winds through 6 a.m. Friday. So the other hazard we have going on right now for flooding is with the repeated rounds of rain expected through Friday. We still have a flood watch in effect. Intense rain rates, training of storms and all that kind of stuff is what we're going to be watching for in this flood watch, and it's pretty much for all of Southeast Louisiana. Of course, avoid driving through flooded roads, don't drive around barricades, and just be extremely careful, especially at night. It looks like the worst of it, at least right now, the timing wise, would be late Wednesday night into early Thursday morning. So that's going to be a hazard for overnight as well. So when it comes to the excessive rainfall outlook, these are the excessive rainfall outlooks for the next few days. So the first one on the left-hand side there is today, the middle is tomorrow, and the one on the right-hand side is Thursday. We can see we're in a level 3 out of 4 today, moderate risk for flash flooding with potential significant impacts. We've already seen that in Pearl River County near Picayune. That the threat still remains today. Tomorrow, we're mostly in a slight risk. However, for day 2, we just collaborated with the Weather Prediction Center, and the moderate that is you see just off to the left-hand side there will be expanded into our area and will include the New Orleans metro. So that middle one will be updated very soon with the new excessive rainfall outlook, and that red outlined area will extend all the way east into New Orleans. And then so on Thursday, much of the area is still under level 3 out of 4, moderate risk for flash flooding with significant impacts possible as well. So multiple days of heavy rainfall. Rainfall rates are extremely efficient, upwards of 2 to 3, even up to 4 inches per hour. So if areas see multiple rounds of rain for multiple days, that's just going to lead to more and more significant impacts. So this is going to be the main risk we're going to have to watch out for the next few days. And so beyond Thursday, we, like I mentioned before in the 5-day outlook, we will still have a lingering flash flood threat, especially over areas that see the most amount of rain the next few days. So we have that level 2 out of 4 slight risk for most of Southeast Louisiana, except for along and south of the I-10 corridor, where we have that level 1 out of 4 risk, marginal risk. Again, just looking for areas that already received a lot of rain in the next few days and that have highly efficient rainfall rates, leading to quick flash flooding. And Saturday, marginal level 1 out of 4 risk for basically the northern half of the area north of I-10-12 corridor. Again, lingering flood threat, especially over those areas that have received most of the rain today through Thursday. Speaking of rainfall totals, so this is additional rainfall totals, and this, because we've already seen roughly in some spots 6 to 8 inches of rain. So this is additional, so widespread 6 to 8 inches of, or 4 to 6 inches of rain with some pockets of 8 inches of rain in there, mostly across the northern half of the area. However, we have seen a trend of it shifting a little bit farther eastward. That's why, in collaboration with the Weather Prediction Center, that moderate risk is expanding eastward. So most likely rain totals roughly 4 to 6 inches widespread with bullseyes of 8. However, your reasonable worst case scenario is 10 to 15 inches across much of the area. And again, we've seen a trend further east, south and east. So that's something that we're going to have to watch out for carefully, is that if it keeps trending further and further east, then that's going to include the New Orleans metro. So just keep that in mind. So most likely about 4 to 6 inches of rain throughout the next few days, or through Friday, excuse me, and then reasonable worst case 10 to 15 inches through Friday. So turning to severe weather, we currently have a level 1 out of 5 risk, marginal risk for today. Basically from a line from Tylertown through Zachary and Brobridge, mainly for isolated damaging wind gusts and a tornado or two. We kind of saw our tornado threat maximize this morning over in eastern St. Tammany and southern Pearl River County, and so far has been behaving today. So it should diminish through this evening and tonight. And like I said, we have that lull later this evening beyond 10 o'clock. And then tomorrow is much of the same. Level 1 out of 5 marginal risk, basically along and south of the I-12 corridor, I-10-12 corridor. Again, same thing. Damaging wind gusts and a brief tornado can't be ruled out. And then, like I said, after the lull this evening through Wednesday morning, things start picking up midday Wednesday and lasting through Wednesday night. We also have a level 1 out of 5 risk for, it's supposed to say Thursday. Level 1 out of 5 risk on Thursday, mainly early Thursday morning. Isolated damaging wind gusts and a few brief tornadoes can't be ruled out. We could see a potential upgrade to a level 2 out of 5 risk, slight risk, for early Thursday morning. If the threat continues to materialize, we have seen some trends that seem to indicate an increase in at least the tornadic potential. So be on the lookout for that. And if it were to be an upgrade, it would be for that dashed yellow area. And again, this is early Thursday morning through afternoon. So be on the lookout for that as well. So just to summarize everything, Potential Tropical Cyclone One is again forecast to become a tropical storm early Wednesday morning and make landfall Wednesday night near the Texas-Louisiana border. Daily rounds of rain can produce significant flash flooding, especially today through Thursday, and especially where the heaviest rain and intense rainfall rates repeatedly moves over the same locations. We have that severe weather threat, mainly damaging wind gusts and a few brief tornadoes, with that possible higher threat on Thursday, early Thursday morning. Again, coastal flooding will also, hazardous marine conditions will become increasingly concerning tomorrow through Thursday, as we get 1 to 3 feet of inundation above normally dry ground during high tides. And then, of course, with all the heavy rainfall, we'll need to monitor rivers very, very closely as the actual heavy rainfall ends. So that is everything I have for you. If y'all have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Thank y'all.